Why it sucks to be born a goldfish.
You hatch from an egg smaller than a grain of sand gray, half blind, thinner than an eyelash, and the first thing that happens to you is that your own mother turns around and tries to eat you.
Oh,
You are one of 1,000
what the hell, Mom?
that hatched this morning. By tomorrow night, almost all of them will be gone eaten, most of them by your own family. You are not a pet yet.
Is that like growing your own snacks? I just realized I haven't zoomed in. Is that growing your own snacks? Like low key? That's kind of eco-friendly. You know what I mean? Not reliant on big corporations. That's just efficient, I guess.
You are food that hasn't been caught. And here's the part that should stop you cold. The ones who don't get eaten, the survivors, the lucky few are about to get the worst deal of all. Because you were built to live 40 years.
What?
To grow as long as a human arm. To remember almost everything you ever see.
Hold up. Are we on about different goldfish? I swear every goldfish I've had is about that big. Don't like how close to life that is, but like this big, and they always just die, and then they end up going. You know what I mean?
And nearly every one of you will spend that whole enormous life dying slowly in a bowl the size of a fist, waiting for the face of the person who's killing you. You don't know any of that yet, right?
That is a messed up way to put it. That is an insidious way to put it. I'm not just waiting to kill them. Oh, I like them. They're pretty cute. They're sweet. I give him nice yummy flakes. They love it. But I don't just wait to kill them.
You're just trying to survive the first night. Skip forward.
Every night.
For the first few days, you don't even swim. You hang from a leaf by your head, absorbing the last of your own yolk, unable to move, unable to run from anything. This is the most dangerous time in your entire life. And you spend it stuck to a plant, hoping nothing notices you. Things notice you. Adult fish.
Oh.
Insects. The pump that keeps the water clean, pulling the smallest of you in. Of the 1,000 that hatched, a few dozen make it to the size of a rice grain. You are one of them. Not because you were stronger, because of where you happen to be floating. Then you start to change and you discover what you actually are. The gray burns off, and you turn the color everyone knows gold, orange, the color of a coin. That color isn't natural. Nobody in a wild river is born looking like you. 1,000 years ago in China, you were a plain gray carp in the mud, and people bred the rare gold ones, generation after generation, for 1,000 years, for emperors, until
I'm not seeing the problem there. If they want to breed me until I come out gold and shiny and pretty, and I live for 40 years, I don't care. I don't care. Make me breed me right now until I turn gold and shiny. I really wouldn't be that angry, actually. I would look fabulous. That you're not losing me on that one. I'm not depressed yet.
They built you, the way they built a dog out of a wolf, and they built you
They're
tough.
cute.
In open water, you grow to the length of a human forearm, over a foot long. You can live 20, 30, 40 years. You can survive a pond frozen solid over winter.
So hold up, I get to turn gold and I live multiple lifetimes. So I start with a reasonable 20-year lifetime. And then I get a second 30-year one. And then I get a third crescendo of 40 years. Jesus. It's like cats with 9 lives. I get 3 lives. I come out golden. I was bred for emperors. And I'm the size of a human arm.
You can even survive water with no oxygen at all for months. Your body does something almost nothing else on Earth can do. And turns the poison building up inside you into alcohol just to stay alive. You are one of the most durable animals.
We're alcoholics! We're buzzed off our nuts and shiny! This video is the most happy one he has.
Animals a person can own. Remember that. because everything that's about to happen to you happens anyway. You aren't born in a river anymore.
Mm-hmm.
You're born in a farm, one of millions, in
Okay.
vast ponds, scooped up and sorted by hand. And
Okay.
here is where a lot of you learn you were never meant to be loved at all. The
What?
ones with the wrong color, the wrong shape, and simply the ones there are too many of get a different label. Feeder fish.
Yes. Humans have a habit of making that distinction. It's very unfortunate. I still think they're all beautiful. I would have them all.
You are sold by the bagful, for pennies, for one purpose: to be dropped, alive, into a tank with something bigger and eaten. A snack for a turtle.
Oh, no. I don't know if this is different where with the rock flag and eagle locations, but a goldfish is just like normally like a singular fishy fly swim, right? I've never really seen that goldfishes are food. I feel like you'd give something else for food. Goldfishes are pets, not feeding territory, right?
Live food for a pet no one calls cruel. Most goldfish sold on Earth are sold this way. You spend your whole short existence packed into a tank with thousands of others, half of you sick, waiting to be someone else's meal. You were built for 40 years. You were priced at 10 cents. If you're not a feeder, if you're one of the lucky ones picked to be a pet, you go to the store. The store tank is wall-to-wall bodies. The water carries disease between all of you white spots that eat your skin, rot that frays your fins. Some of you are dead in the tank before you're ever sold.
That kind of seems like an orgy. It explains it and described it like maybe to a T, actually.
Floating among the living while children point at the pretty ones. Then a hand and a net, a plastic bag the size of a fist. Or, for millions of you, a fairground, one for knocking down a can and handed to a child in the dark. The bag isn't a prize, it's a countdown. The oxygen is already running out. Your own waste is already building in water too small to turn around in. The temperature drops with the night air. Most of you who start in that bag are dead within days, floating before the child has even chosen a name.
Right. This is Goldfish Doomsdayer. Yes, it comes in the bag, but you've already got the tank and everything set up. But is this an American thing? You just get it in the bag and stick it on the windowsill until you manage to belatedly figure out where it lives after the fact? You think the bag is sufficient? What kind of doomsday is this? In the UK, you get the goldfish. You're all ready to go. You plonk it in its new mansion with cool little hiding spots, Davy Jones locker chests and everything, so it can just float around and just be going to the happiest it's gonna be. Is this what they do? They just get a bag of goldfish and just let it fucking die? What is this? This is sick. This is a problem.
You don't get hunted, you don't get eaten, you're killed by a plastic bag and a kind afternoon, survive that, and you get promoted. To the bowl. The bowl looks like mercy. It's a slow execution. You breathe, you eat, you make waste, and in a bowl with no filter, that waste turns the water to ammonia. Ammonia burns. It scars your gills a little more every day, the way smoke scars lungs. In water that looks perfectly clean to the person who loves you. You rise to the surface and gulp at the air because there isn't enough oxygen down below and they think you're being cute. You're suffocating. And everything they do to help makes it worse. They clean the bowl with tap water straight from the faucet and the chlorine in it burns your gills raw. They change all the water at once and the shock of it nearly stops your heart.
I am going to keep it a stack. Most of this guy's videos, it's very much centered on the evolution of the animal, right? Of fish. Are fish animals? I think they are. I don't know. Let me know. But it's focused on that being the problem why it's a messed up existence. This just feels like there's an assumption that you're going to have a terrible owner. In my experience, people have goldfish, they treat them quite nicely. We had a goldfish. They seem pretty happy. And again, again, is this an American thing? Because I see this in media a lot, where there's that bowl with no filter. Anybody that I knew that had goldfish or anything like that, they had a tank with the filter and everything. It was very bubbly. And then every now and then the fish would just go and, just sample some boobles, you know? Is this common? Yes, most attempt to do so, but kids are often not the most responsible with goldfish. Yeah, but that's like, you can't just give a pet to a kid and expect them to look after the kid. I mean, yeah, there's some adult input there. My brother had my beta and a goldfish in a tank. You had a beta goldfish and then there was like an alpha goldfish. Yeah. They live for 7 and 5 years respectively. I feel like they have good lives if you treat them well. This just feels like they have really bad owners.
They love you, so they feed you and keep feeding you, but you have no real stomach. You were built to nibble all day in a lake. And the food they pour in bloats you until you can't stay upright. Some nights, desperate, you throw your whole body at the only edge you can find and you jump, clean out of the bowl. They find you in the morning, dried to the counter. And the bowl doesn't only shrink your world, it shrinks you. Trapped in that little water, poisoned by yourself, your body is forced to stop growing the 4-arm-long animal you were built to be, held down at the size of a thumb. The person above you feeds you every day. The person above you is killing you every day. They are the same act. They will never know. And
we need to find this kid. This kid needs to be taken off the streets. This kid is a menace. And he needs to be stopped. He needs to be stopped. This is despicable.
They will never know. And here's what makes all of it so much worse. They say you forget in 3 seconds. It is the most famous fact about you on Earth, and it is completely, provably false. You remember for months. You can be trained to swim through hoops, push levers, come to one corner at feeding time. You learn the pattern of the day, and you know the face. The shape of the glass isn't a blur. You recognize it, tell it apart from every other, and the moment it appears, you rush the front of the bowl to meet it. People call that begging. It's the closest thing to a relationship you will ever have. In your entire flat world of glass and light, that face is the one thing that means something is out there, and you remember it every single time. You are not a decoration with a 3-second mind. You are aware. You know exactly how small your world is, and you never, ever forget it. That's not...
It generally is. It's just over halfway, leaning towards the latter end of the video, that these type of videos start to give me an existential crisis. I thought, if you own a pet, right? I've had goldfish, right? I thought it was common when you had a pet that, even if, I have a leopard gecko up there, right? I still talk to that leopard gecko like I think it could like me. I give it rubs like it might like it. I give it the food that I think it likes. I attach like a personality. I assume that it's not just like a lizard brain that it thinks of food, survival, and leave me alone, and they don't have the emotional part that the brain says. I know the science says something, but I assume my pet has a life and a personality. I thought that was fairly standard. It's quite upsetting to know that people are getting pets and then believing, oh, they don't remember, and then just like having them as like a thing that exists. I think if you have a pet, even the word pet, I hate saying pet because that indicates ownership of something. I mean, why can't you just give something a cool life away from the dangers of being consistently under threat of being eaten? Why can't you just have a goldfish, right? And give it a big ass tank, let it grow, have fun, enjoy itself. I don't understand. I thought that was fairly common, and I thought this was the worst case, but now it's seeming like this might be the more popular thing. This is unreal. My dog is not my pet. My dog is my family. Now, does it have the brain capacity that I don't know? But it has a heart of gold that I would truly aspire to have in every walk of life. Is it a little bit silly? Does it have the brain of a toddler? Probably. But it's caring, loving, and it doesn't judge anyone. But you have it to join your family. You don't have it to be a center display to make you look better. Gross. Sorry, rant over. Back to the depressing video.
That's the worst part of the whole thing. Some of you were built worse than others on purpose. To make you prettier, people bred whole kinds of you into bodies that barely function. Eyes swollen into fluid balloons that burst if you brush a rock. Eyes aimed at the ceiling, so you can't see the food in front of you. Bodies bred egg round for a cute shape, which crushes the organ that keeps you upright, so you spend your life tilting, sinking, floating helplessly upside down while you're still alive. You didn't get sick, you were designed this way. And if they keep you in a dark room, something quiet happens. Your color needs light to survive. Without it, the gold drains out of you week by week until you fade to a ghostly white, the pet they picked for its color.
Wait, so they deliberately make them pale? Because you said some are like off color. That means they deliberately expose some to less sunlight so that people are more likely to use them as food. That's outrageous.
Slowly turning colorless in the dark, and no one even notices. If you survive all of it, this is your life. The glass, the light, the corner where the food falls. You reach the wall, you turn. You reach the wall, you turn. The world is 20 centimeters across and it never gets any bigger, and you remember every single lap. Because
hey, 20 centimeters across, it is big. We should be happy. We should be happy. Things do not need to get bigger.
You remember everything. An animal built for a lake. Built for 40 years, circling a cup of water, waiting for a face. Every so often, one of you gets tipped into a pond by someone who couldn't watch you die on the counter. Most don't survive the change, but the ones who do explode. Freed from the bowl.
That's not surviving. Most don't survive the change, and the ones that do fucking pop. How is that surviving? What do you mean? Oh yeah, the ones that don't adjust and they die. Oh, and the ones that also survive, yeah, they fucking go full Hiroshima on the fucking river. Oh, what is this stuff?
In open water for the first time, they grow to 1 foot, 2 feet deep-bodied orange giants, weighing as much as a bag of sugar, living for decades, thriving so completely that in lakes all over the world, they've become an invasive monster no one can get rid of. That was inside you the entire time. The giant, the decades, the whole enormous life.
Some people do aspire to have a giant inside them.
The only thing standing between you and all of it was a bowl the size of a fist and a person who was certain you'd be dead in a week. Most of you never see the lake. Most of you are found one morning at the surface of the bowl, small and still, in the water that did it. The child cries. The bowl is emptied into the toilet. And on the next warm weekend, at the next fair, another one of you is knocked down for a prize and handed over in a bag. But there was one, a real one, won at a fair in England in 1956, kept in a tank that lived 43 years. It outlived the boy's entire childhood. Proof, swimming in a bowl, of what every single one of you was always capable of. Almost none of you get that. Not because you couldn't, because the people who loved you never knew what you were. Somewhere tonight, a child is naming a new one, dropping in food, certain it won't last the week. Certain it forgets everything in 3 seconds. It remembers all of it, and it's already waiting for the face.
Yeah, but why even have the goldfish if you're going to make the assumption that it forgets in 3 seconds? Even if it was true, why would you even get it? Because at that point, then you just know it's not going to form a relationship with you. And I feel like that's the whole point of adding something into your home is to have something else that you can form connection with that is a human. Why even get it? Why would you not assume that there is more depth to it? Oh, God, these videos, I start so strong. I'm like, it's not going to get me. It's not going to get me. And then by the end of them, I'm like, oh my God, I'm depressed for an existence that I no longer, no longer. I mean, I was never a goldfish. Never a goldfish. I'm going to clarify, I was never a goldfish, and don't you dare say I was. But I end up sad for something I don't live.
Spent your whole life trapped in a small glass world, remembering everything, wanting nothing but more time. There's a creature that does the exact opposite. It gives up everything for beauty. It spends weeks building itself into the most beautiful thing alive, and then it dissolves its own body into liquid, while it's still alive and rebuilds itself from nothing. And after all of that, after becoming the most beautiful thing on earth, it gets about 2 weeks before it dies. Go find out.
We have a bunch of people that make themselves exceptionally beautiful and then drown in fluids, and then and at very most, at the utmost amount, that whole phase only tends to last 2 weeks at a time. So humans aren't too different, but alas, we haven't watched one of these in a while. It was an excellent reminder of why we don't. I feel like I'm gonna go buy a bunch of goldfish and give them the best life. Feel like I need to establish a Make-A-Wish for goldfish. And on that note, I'll see you in the next one.